Okay then, you lovely lot, it's podcast time again, and what a better discussion to have with the main man himself, the bagger, than we're going to go down festival mentality. I don't think there's an angler, well, I know there's not an angler in the country who's won as many festivals as you, and like literally, actual true story that.
Could be.
I don't, mate, not even could be, definitely not, but we want to go down sort of the mentality, so you prep, how organised you are, and, you know, maintained in your own sort of like regimented scheme and not going out drinking before, you know what I mean? Because you don't go out drinking or anything, do you, mate?
Never, no, never.
You're like, what are you lying for? What are you lying for, Anne? No, talk us through it. So like, you say you've got a, let's take Whiteacres for example. You've got a Whiteacres festival coming up. What are we now? We are on, it's Friday. To say it's like next week, when would you have been getting prepared for like your festival?
I hate prep. So I'm like you, I don't
Pre-tied
like
ups,
prep.
yeah boy.
No, not pre-tied ups. I like to do my own stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd start preparing a lot earlier.
So would you do sort of like your prep around winter time when it's a bit quieter for us,
Yeah,
for like later on in the year?
For me, I do my winter prep
Yeah.
in say November, and then I try and do my summer prep in sort of like February, ready for the summer.
Is it like me, like, I don't know what you're like, no, yeah, pre-tied up lens. I find it hard to do summer rigs in the winter, knowing that like that line looks too thick, them looks look too big. It's proper hard, isn't it?
It is, but I just feel like I know what it's like in the summer. I don't get time to go and do my thing in my gear again, so I like to do it all in one big hit, and then chop it up.
What do you do it over like a few weeks or something?
Yeah, it'll take me like 2 or 3 weeks.
And you just get it all done then?
I'll chop everything down, cry for half an hour, wishing I hadn't done it, and then I'm not massive on prep, but I just can't use rigs from the year before. So like I just look at the line and I think it's going to break that, so I'll chop them all down. And I'll just have like kart rigs, F1 rigs.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, and then maybe spring and autumn F1 rigs. So bristle thickness is a big thing. I don't use loads of different patterns of float. I try and simplify it as much as I can. You know, if you're fishing hard pellets in open water, you're generally using like 1.7, 2 mil tips, carbon and wire floats. Normally it's a similar sort of pattern, and then a couple of venues where it's deep. You know, like just try and simplify it. I'll have a few carp slapper rigs, F1 shallow rigs, do all my up lengths.
I suppose it's a little bit simpler for you now with like Porth not being in, isn't it? Obviously you have to get an all new array of gear ready for Porth, didn't you?
If I'm going places like, I've just come back from Westwood, and that's, you know.
Talk about Westwood as well, for example, festival prep there.
So it's dead simple there.
Are you doing the same like over winter when it's quiet? Are you getting all your festival preps done that time of year, yeah?
I just have like certain rigs, so I'll have my little dibber shallow rigs, and then I might have like an F1 shallow style float with a bristle. And that pretty much is my shallow rigs done. So I might have like 6 or 8 of each.
Right, okay.
So like one side of my trail just be my shallow rigs, and then
right, so say like, sorry mate, I'm putting in, but right, you've fished the first day on the Monday, you've caught loads shallow. Are you using that same rig the day after? Yeah, but you're just changing the up length. He's in my gang, gives one of them, man. He's in my gang there.
I never chop my rigs down.
But obviously you just like running your fingers over the line, make sure it's all
I use
right.
quite robust main lines, so it's not going to break.
Love it.
You know, 017, 019, you know, main line, so I think that's not going to break. If it's damaged, I won't use it. I've been known to in the past, but yeah, I try.
And then it breaks off like that, grab big kite, you're like, no!
It depends how important it is. If it's just, you know, obviously I still want to do well, but like Westwood last week, I didn't have to do any prep prior to it. Because you're basically using 3-inch hook lengths on nearly all your rigs. You're fishing like bagger style floats in the edge.
Go on the bagger.
And across. Little dibbers for shallow, and then you might have some 4x12, 4x14s fishing on the bottom or whatever. You only need like an handful of rigs. The fact
obviously you've been doing it for so long, the venues that you've been going to, it's not going to change much, is it? Obviously the lines aren't going to change, your hooks aren't going to change, your floats certainly aren't going to change. Bait's obviously a little bit different, isn't it? How would you go about prepping your bait and all that? Because obviously I know there's tackle shops at these places, but do you get it in bulk before and store it in the fridge or something? Or?
Yeah, so normally I try and get the best bait I can. So normally Paul will pick it up from Lanes for us on his way up.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
And we just got the best maggots and casters then, because the nice big fresh maggots, that makes a big difference. Like having good big maggot, when it's maggot fishing, having good big maggots is important.
Nobody likes small maggots, do they? You know what I mean?
It makes such a difference. I can't stress it enough. Like you go to some places and the maggots are really small, almost like fishing a big pinky.
Do you
know what I mean? You can't feed them right. You fire like half a pouch full and it's like 100.
Worse when you've got a mixture in it. You've got to fire them in and you've got like a spread.
There's loads of things. And So quality bait,
Yeah.
that's the first thing. Make sure you've got quality bait.
How do you deal with actually storing it? Is it all fridged or?
Yeah, fridge it. Like last week, for example, Lee, who stayed with us, Lee Turner, bring a big fridge, casters straight in there.
I was going to say casters, they're the biggest ones, aren't they?
Maggots can go underneath. If it were this warm now, like 20 odd degrees, it's hard to store maggots.
Yeah.
So if you can, if I go down to tunnel, I might buy me maggots daily, or try and find a big enough fridge so that you can store it. That's really important, because otherwise your maggots...
Are you one for bagging them and taking the air out and opening them up in the morning, or...?
No, because again, like if it's this warm and you bag them, they can die on you.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky one. At the moment, if the temperature's pretty cool, you can get away with them, but what you don't want is your maggots racing.
Yeah.
One, they'll shrink, start to sweat up, and then that's the end of them.
Yeah, I like
Casters is a lot easier, because you can just black bag them in a fridge, or even somewhere cool enough, just where they're not, not in the back of your van. That gets the hottest place. I'll either put them underneath my van, underneath the caravan. But maggots is the hardest thing to keep, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
You need a fridge. You can buy a fridge from Alford's. I don't know how much they are, but
ones, yeah.
They're brilliant.
Ollie's got one in his bedroom. You know what I mean? One of these, like,
Little one.
in the shape of a big Coke can, and you get like 8 cans in it. But like they're cold within like half an hour.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You say it as if it's a normal thing. How many people are actually going and thinking, I'll take a fridge to a festival?
Yeah, that's it.
No one does it, and then you get there and you're buggered, aren't you?
It's cool box, but then the cool box has lasted that day, innit? You know what I mean? It's not maintaining, obviously, that freshness. And we're not advising you to use the fridge in the accommodation, folks. Absolutely not, because that's a bit naughty.
No, you can take the Alford, they do like this fridge. I know Paul has them.
Halfords?
Halfords, is it? Yeah, the
one with the
Halfords.
bikes and that?
Yeah, bike thing.
Go on,
and
the
they sell them.
Halfords. Yeah.
And a few of the lads I know have them for festivals. You can just chuck them in back at van, get in, plug it in, and you could probably get like 2 gallon in there quite easy.
That's it. Everyone's going to be going to
Big
Halfords
bucket,
now.
make sure it's nice and
You on
cold.
commission with them? You got 10% or what?
Yeah, if you use the code...
Go on, Anne. So we're coming back to like prep a little bit then. Rod and line fishing. How often are you changing the reel lines and what have you on?
Probably like twice a year. I'll change it in the winter, ready for the summer.
Yeah.
But because I'm not doing it loads and loads...
Whiteacres, it's involved a bit though, isn't it? Like Waggler and Method, or is it more sort of pole
not
there?
as much now.
Is it not?
Method maybe quite a bit. There's not much bomb or Waggler fishing, odd days. So I'd probably change, me personally, on my fishing, I'd probably spool me... Probably February time, I'll spool them up ready for summer.
Yeah.
And then around about June, July, so any time now, I'll do them again, because obviously a lot of the finals and stuff like that are coming the next 3 months. A lot of festivals, a lot of finals coming up.
That's another one we can go. I mean, we can go off subject a little bit here, Richard. Obviously, festival mentality, big final prep. Is it similar to your festival mentality?
Exactly the same, yeah.
So, I mean, nothing's a guarantee in fishing, but it's pretty much a guarantee you're going to qualify for a big one every year. You're still getting the rigs done or the gear done at the start of the year, yeah?
Yeah,
so you've got it for that.
Obviously this year I've been fortunate enough to qualify for Maver. When that comes up, I'll make sure that I've got all new fresh line on.
Yeah, man.
But quite a bit in advance so I can bed it in. It's no good just having it fresh and...
Because it goes whee!
Yeah, I like to use it a few times before. I wouldn't ever do it like 2 days before a final.
Yeah.
I want to make sure my line's sinking. And
what are you doing to bed it in? Just actually fishing with it?
Fishing with it, and then, my Waggler, if it's windy, I want to be able to sink my line sometimes, so I'll make sure that I've put plenty of washing up liquid on, fished it, it's absorbed it, and it's sinking nice and it's ready to go, rather than turn up on the first day, bit of washing up liquid, and it's floating everywhere. So, just bed it in, have a few casts with it, just not do it 2 days before, do you know what I mean?
It's proper mad, like the thought process behind it, and obviously the work rate and how much sort of like you're putting into it, and for the festivals. I mean, as you know, we used to fish Whiteacres one quite a bit, and I just rock up and just do a rig to suit, but you simply can't do that, folks. You've got to get on it, especially the likes of the young anglers coming through now. They're so like, literally, they'll get back, tie a load of hooks, do a load of rigs, and that's it, innit? Same day in, day out.
Whiteacres is quite, a lot of it's experience as well, like, because Whiteacres is probably the hardest place to go.
Every time I do, I'm like, right, where's Bagger, go and see him, and he's like, literally down to the T, you know every single peg.
Yeah, because we've got like 20 odd years experience going there, you know the lakes, and it's like, the most important thing, I think, when you go to new venues is knowing what you're fishing for. So like last year, we went to Monk Hall. I'd never been there before, But it was dead easy because it was like edge and shallow fishing. Because the fishing's so good, that's the only way you're going to catch 200, 300 pound. You know, like one day I had like 370 pounds.
But obviously you've done your own work beforehand, you mean? You've like talked to people who fished the venue and like got a bit of an insight.
Yeah, but also like, if you're someone said like, you're going to need 300 pounds to win this section. Well, I ain't going to catch that shallow.
Yeah.
Because the fish are only sort of like, they're hide and F1s, so I
You'd have a lovely day's fishing around, wouldn't you?
You'd have a mega day. But this is where...
the winning mentality, like the likes of you coming to your own.
I'm like, right,
I want to win.
I chucked a feeder out, 15 minutes, I've caught 2 4-pound carp. That's a good start, isn't it? But I thought, this is too slow, I'll be getting them quicker in edge. So I dropped in the edge after 20 minutes, and then caught there for like three hours, something like that.
Really?
Few on hard pellets on a top kit, which nobody really ever does, but it's very like carp, 6mm hard pellets. I didn't even, there's millions of hide, millions of F1s, but I didn't bother fishing caster shallow because it was never a winning method.
It's a different, completely different mentality to get into, and the likes of you, that winning mentality. All right, we all want to win, but it's one thing saying it, it's another thing doing it. Winning mentality for me, I'll just fish shallow, catch fish all day. Yeah, great day, but chances are you're not going to win. It's getting into them bigger fish kind of thing, isn't it?
Do you find yourself kind of approaching pegs a bit differently when it is like a 5-day festival versus a qualifier and you've almost got to get into that, I need to make the most out of the peg even though I can't win the match from it? Or do you just go and all out? And
that's why I loved Whiteacres, because, I mean, I still love Whiteacres, but that's, you know, 5 years ago, if you drew in the arm section, you'd be like, right, I'll start for a carp first hour, whether it be a cross or, you know, down the edge or wherever you may draw. Then I'll fish for silvers for like the middle part of the match, and you might catch 15, 20 pound of silvers, but because you're only fishing for 30 to 40 pound to win your section, most people think, well, that's not very good, but I think it's dead technical then. And that's what fishing's, that's why it's great. Now there's more F1s in there, so I'm talking about pollowing, for example. There used to be loads of roach and skimmers and all sorts. I remember catching Paul catching 110 pound of skimmers on twin oaks. I've never seen that since.
Yeah, no one would like it.
Whether they took them out or whatever, but you know, Jenny's was the same. You could catch 50, 60, 70 pound of skimmers and tench and crusions and all that stuff. That's all changed now. So the fishing changes. You don't find yourself fishing for silvers. But I used to love, nobody wanted to draw it because you couldn't win the match. I used to think, right, okay, I've got a game plan, do you know what I mean? And that'd be your mentality.
And you go into it confident, whereas most people, like myself, I draw it like, oh, not there, because you'd want to be on the eye bank, wouldn't you? Fishing waggler and catching some crap big uns.
You'd draw there, oh, that's a long old day, do you know what I mean? You might catch 5 carp, like
whereas
the carp
this is the difference with you go into it thinking confident, right, I'm going to win my section.
Yeah, I need to catch 20 pound of silvers. If I get 1 carp early and maybe 2 in the edge late, you know, 3 carp, 20 pound. Because they were big fish, 20 pound of silvers, there's your 40 pound, you've got a section winning weight.
Yeah, definitely.
You could fish with carp for 5 hours and catch 4 and have 30 pound and be like, oh, I should have just filled the gap, do you know what I mean?
Having the confidence to do it as well, I think. How many times you see it, people are like, oh, I'll fish for silvers for a bit. They're catching odd uns and they're probably doing all right, but then someone will catch a carp nearby, they see that and then
we had this conversation with Des the other day. You know, in Will, they always used to do well down there, just like obviously catch a carp, the quiet spells, catch everything swimming, and then go up for the carp again. You're saying exactly the same thing, aren't you? You've got it in your game plan what you're going to do.
That's why Des was so good, because he'd fish casters a lot, and you know, he could catch anything, any method. You know, that's why he's won so many festivals down there. But you know, he'd know the pegs. He's got loads of experience there. If you was going Whiteacres for the first time next year, you know, there's 15 lakes there or whatever. You might be fishing on 6 or 7 of them. You know, the front twin oaks is different to the back twin oaks. Then you could have acorn, and it still catches us out. Yeah, because like acorn now is full of F1s. Right. Okay. It was all just carp,
wasn't it?
And roach. So you'd fish for
they weren't roach, they were roach.
Big roach,
dog roach.
And you could catch 30, 40
dog
pound
roach on the canal.
You could catch 30, 40 pound of them.
Yeah, man.
That's not a thing now, so it changes all the time.
You've got to adapt all the time. Yeah. And I suppose like the benefits you've got, Anne, because you're down there quite regular and you know people are going down there, you get to pull that information as well, don't you?
Yeah, you can't do everything on your own. You've got to ask for people for information. That how did you catch here? What depth did you catch here?
I bet I did your heading back in the day. Andy, I don't fish this one. I blooming told you last time. Yeah, mate, it's just one of them though, isn't it?
It's confusing sometimes.
Are you good at remembering it without having notes and stuff like that, or are you one of these that keeps a proper diary? And
if my missus asked where we went last year on holiday, I wouldn't have a clue, but if you ask me how I caught on Brookside in 19, well, not very good with years, but I just remember, you know, I sit on a peg, like here even, I'll sit on a peg and think, yeah, I remember
catching,
I doing a live match last year and I fed the edge for 3 hours and 40 minutes, never had a sign, and then I caught like 40 pound of carp there. That just sticks in my head. Just a random match.
I think there's a lot of anglers like that.
Jamie's the same.
I can relate.
Can you?
Yeah, well, you know I can. Yeah, I've done it for the memories things. I can remember for like things from when I was 12-year-old and stuff.
I've been to venues, fished half a match, then realised I've been there before, and about halfway through.
Probably like had a bit of an haircut and like trees chopped down.
No, certain things, but with photos, any photo I've taken, like it could be a dead generic, like a maggot on a hook. I'll see it on Facebook that Matt
exactly
posted it from years ago. I'll be like, I know I took that.
Yeah, I took that.
Don't know why.
Weird. Right, going back to the festivals. I know we always go off topic, folks. You know what we're like, but we're not going to. What is your most memorable festival win? And obviously, dozens and dozens you've won. What's probably your most memorable one, mate? Where you know that started off as well, and then you come back at the end.
Probably when I'd won Whitaker's back to back, because I'd been within £7 about 6 or 7 times of not winning it. I've been within 10 ounce, 7 ounce, and it were like, oh, 7 ounce here, 1 pot, you know, one fish. And I could have won the festival 6, 7 times. It's like, God, I'm never going to win one of these festivals. Do you know what I mean? I've been going for 4 or 5 years with Paul.
Yeah.
Because I had a little break from it, and then I went back for 4 or 5 years, and I'd framed every single festival, but I just couldn't win one. I was like 2nd, 4th, 5th, you know. And all of a sudden, I won the Maver, and it were like 5 out of 5 wins. And then the week after, I won the Preston. I had 4 out of 5 wins in a second. I think Callum Dix beat me on Porth by £2 or something.
Right.
So I nearly had a perfect 2 week. But on the second week, I remember not drawing great. Well, it used to be the best section peg in Cornwall, 13 on the high bank. But you was in the rubbish section.
With the rubbish. Yeah.
Now, because they can reach the islands, there's a lot more F1s. It's not as dominant.
Right.
It still can be great, but at the time it was like. Oh, 2 years ago that'd have been mega, but now it's not as good. 7 can be really good now. And anyway, I was fishing, I was catching odd fish, not really going anywhere, and I've been potting meat short, and I caught 3 carp for like £25, but literally 2 minutes to go, it's gone under. I've fouled up to carp £8. I've played it after time. I remember John Wincup either filming me or stood there or something, like, take your time, lad, take your time. And I've netted this big carp, and I've won the section by like £3.
Oh, mate.
Which got me a win, and then I ended up beating Paul on weight because of it. So me and Paul were 1st and 2nd both festivals.
Right.
Obviously we're like sharing partners.
Yeah.
So it couldn't have gone any better in terms of like, I'd won my first festival, then I'd won back-to-back festivals, and then I nearly went on and won the Park Dean final. Well, not really, but I was 3rd in the Park Dean final. Des won it that year,
right,
with a load of Crassio.
Yeah.
But I had I didn't draw a brilliant peg, but I had a great start, like 3 or 4 big carp, and I just thought, bloody hell, like, is this just going to happen? Is it?
Yeah.
And then it just went a bit rubbish after that. But it was that nearly like the most perfect week. But that was probably my most memorable, because I'd always wanted to win a Whitex Festival.
Yeah.
And then I went back, and I think I was 2nd, and then won the next one. So I'd had like 3 out of 4 wins in a second on the trot, and it was like
from going all them years and then being close, and then all of a sudden it just clicks. And quite often in all walks of life, isn't it?
You need a lot of luck as well. Like, luck is a big thing. Like, you create your own luck sometimes. You know, feeding a line and thinking this is never going to go under, and then I caught them 3 carp.
Yeah.
I could have give up and sat long and just carried on nicking an odd small F1, but I knew I needed to catch carp. So, you know, and then I remember pipping Des on the Masters by 2 ounce.
I was going to say that Masters one, I remember that.
Yeah, pinged off a fish, and I went like that, and I managed to scoop it, put it in the net. I beat Powers by £2 for the section, and Des by 2 ounce for the overall. Come down to weight. So again, it was like, can't remember that was the first or second time I won it, but that was like, wow, that's that probably cost me that fish was probably worth like $5 because you'd get a pole, you get a Dyer AirZ pole plus the extra cash. It was probably worth more than $5.
Like out with fish. Mwah,
Tom Scully was filming that time for Catch More Media, and he was actually on there. It went ting, and I just lifted up with the fish, and it was like,
that's amazing.
You need that swing and luck, and you know what I mean, like.
Absolutely, so yeah, definitely. And it's not just obviously summer festivals, is it? Obviously, winter festivals. There's one this year, the one they've had at Medlands. I don't think you've been. Am I right in saying not really seen Medlands before? Never been before.
I've been there once.
Is a 2-day a festival?
Yeah, anything over 1 day is a festival, Richard. Come on.
No, 3-day feels like a festival. 2-day feels
Yeah,
like a
no,
long
2-day
match.
festival. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm having 2-day
Yeah,
festivals.
go on, and
Yeah.
shut up, Rich. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think it's anything. Yeah, it's 2-day, isn't it?
Yeah, festival.
Them short ones are nice. Yeah, 2 days of festival.
And like you smash that to bits, aren't they? Like people like not expecting you to do any good from the draws that you have. And you just like rocks up. This is how you catch them, and then you're really unlucky. And obviously the final, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
The final day
Nearly
there
had a
as well.
perfect week then, didn't I?
Oh mate, it's ridiculous.
Jay just picked me by 8 ounce, but yeah, that was a good venue. But like again, it's
Had you done something different on that one? Is that why you'd caught?
I think a lot of the regulars had been fishing like maggots and casters and worms, and it was that time of the year. Bradshaw's exactly the same. The skimmers, when they start to feed proper in like February, end of February, they just want to eat pellets.
Right. Okay.
So it's just like it's a case of you're fishing the right bait.
Yeah.
You know, you fish the wrong bait, you catch the wrong fish. You fish the right bait, you don't need as many fish, and it's like, you know, you don't need to catch as quick.
Yeah.
So like I had 2 mega days where I caught these fish. The first day I was actually sprinkling some micros, and a lot of the locals were like, what, you sprinkled micros in 12 foot of water? But I wasn't getting any liners or anything.
So they're just nothing's coming through. They're just ending up on the bottom anyway.
And I wasn't feeding every single chuck, so it's not like micros are falling through all the time and you're foul looking anything. And then ping a few pellets over the top as well.
Yeah.
But if you just fed like 4 mils, you didn't have no attraction. And ground bait wasn't right, so it was like, I need to feed micros. If you feed it in a bottle, but this is where like, it goes, going a bit off subject, but it goes back to like, micros falling through like this is attractive to the fish.
Yeah.
You put a ball of micros in, it goes boom, like a stone.
Fish are like that.
They don't spot it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not really dragging fish into your peg.
Yeah.
So sprinkling to me made perfect sense. I just like sprinkle it over a big area, like 2 foot, and then I'm fishing on an area like this. So if it's towing a bit, I can let it run through a bit.
And that's good for drawing mooring because you're not like, you know, creating that competition kind of thing, spooking them out like that.
If you feed it in a ball in 12 foot, it's down, it's like your pile's this big.
Yeah.
You sprinkle it, you know, you might miss a bite. I didn't miss hardly any bites, it was just perfect.
Yeah.
But they was a bit like, I think they fish it a bit more aggressive.
Have you fed much initially on with like your micros and stuff?
I put like 200 mil in at the start just to, because Medlands is a big lake and everyone, well, Waco had said to me, not everyone to be fair, I only really spoke to Adam, and he just said like, sometimes you won't get a bite for like half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So I made sure that I put enough bait in so that when they arrived, there was some bait there.
Yeah.
And then it was a case of just ticking
Seeing
over.
what's what.
Still not compared to what most people are doing at Medlands, where the 6 or 8 big balls
That time.
straight away.
Did Matty tell you about my bowling time the year before last?
But it makes sense on a big venue like that. But
Yeah, but it didn't work though.
it's like, right, draw them in, but then I don't think it's the bait that's dragging them in. They're not there.
Yeah.
Because if they were there, you'd go in, you'd get one first chuck.
Yeah.
It's like the second day, I didn't draw particularly well. I think my peg only had about 9 or 12 pound, and 20 pound was a good weight on that bank.
Yeah.
But because some bait had gone in, and we'd had 3 days of fishing, it's shallow on one side of Medlands, and then it's deep on the other side, and I was on this shallow side. I just think the fish were closer to the bank because a bit of bait had gone in.
Yeah.
They weren't out in the lake. So it took me about 45 minutes to get a bite, and then once I got a bite, I caught for about
Steady
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It were better than the day before, and then they just went.
Right. Okay.
Well, I caught an odd one, but
No,
yeah,
it's mint, mate.
it was good. I enjoyed that.
So I was trying to like when we went off the topic a bit. Then I'm trying to think of like the festivals that you won. So obviously like Woodlands at first, you know, like the Silvers festivals that you've had there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's Western festivals.
Lindome.
Lindome Festival. Yeah, Lindome, that's a massive festival as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I won a few at Lindome in the summer festivals, and I won a May one there. I think I probably won about 4 or 5 up there. I remember winning one on meat.
Catched on meat, cock.
Every day I fished meat at 5 metres when meat was allowed.
Banned, wasn't it?
And then
Banned,
then
wasn't
it
it?
got banned.
Is that why it got banned?
Yeah, probably.
Bagger's fault. It's always Bagger's fault.
Yeah, but you're catching a lot of fish. You had to be chucking like 8 tins in, 10 tins, which sounds a lot. It's only actually 4 pints of meat when it's chopped up.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're throwing like, the fishing was so good, we was catching like 200 pound on meat short and stuff. It was mega.
Oh, it's ridiculous, man.
And then, you know, I won last year just fishing caster shallow 4 of the 5 days. Like, This year it'll be different again because you're not allowed meat, you're not allowed casters. So
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a sign of the angler that you. Go on, you got Rich?
Not be allowed any bait soon. Just
I know, that's it. Just rock up. It's a sign of the angler that you are, mate. That like all the festivals that you've been in, it's very. I don't think you've ever been out of the top 10. Usually it's top 3, but you always see his name, don't you, sitting in the top 10 and all that. You're always thereabouts, aren't you?
I've had a mega run the last few years. I mean, it got to the point where I counted them back from like, I thought, well, the hell, like I framed in every festival I think this year, and it was like 15, and then it got up to about 42 festivals on the trot.
Net, mate.
And then my run come to an end at Woodlands Thirsk.
Right.
The rotation, the top 5 come off that rotation, and I was 6th in the festival. They paid top 5, so it's like I only count it if you get paid out.
Yeah.
And that was one. I think there's been like maybe 1 more or 2 more. So if you said like the last 50 festivals, I think I'd framed in like 47, which was something I was proud of because it was like I ain't gonna do as well. You know, it's like when I won Westwood. I won the festival I fished last week. I won it 5 years on the trot.
Yeah.
And every year, people say like, well, you're going to win it. But every year I feel a bit of pressure like, this will be the year where it don't go my way. And I went up and I needed to draw Swallow 1 match and catch a big weight. And I drew Swallow and caught £250 and won the match and won the festival.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I was lying in 2nd position.
Yeah.
And this is where that little bit of luck just doesn't quite go. You know, it's not meant to be. And I ended up drawing on Hawk on the not so very good side.
Yeah.
Missed Swallow. If I'd have drawn on Swallow and won my section with like even probably 130, you know, Paz had 250 yesterday, won the match, so it fished really well.
Yeah.
You know, if I'd have drawn that Swallow lake, all of a sudden I might have won it again yesterday. You know, I can't moan because you've had your luck and your rub.
It's just an absolute phenomenal record you've got, mate. It's not definitely not touched at all, and I don't think it will be for like, well, ever. You know what I mean? But festivals are popular, aren't they? I do like fishing festivals, but it's tiring. It does take a lot out of you as well, doesn't it? You've got to have that right mentality and sort of like frame of mind, don't you?
They're tiring, but like, obviously
Would
when I go away...
Would you sooner fish a festival than like, just like a normal open match or qualifier round?
Yeah, I think like, it's not about money, but it's nice to be able to fish towards something like, oh, I could win a couple of grand there.
Yeah.
It gives you like, you know, something to aim towards. And I like festivals for the fact that you're away with your mates, you can be sociable, you know, go out for some food.
Away from your missus, Aaron? That's not about. Sorry, Bex.
I'm always away. Sorry, Bex. I'm going again next week. No.
Right, okay,
But yeah, it is. I mean, that's another thing, is like when you are away on festivals, it's hard because I've been away for 3 weeks is too much. 2 weeks is a long time. When I go white, it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
It is a long time, and you start to lose your mojo. Every year's the same. When I go and fish the Park Dean, I fish Maver and Preston, and it comes to the Park Dean, and you might have qualified, and you think, oh, I just want to go home, but I've got a 25 grand final tomorrow, or 15 grand now. You've sort of lost your mojo by it. You know, you're not on it. The first week you're keen and you're mustard, and then the second week you're just going through the motions. And I think everything catches up with you. You've been going out on a few beers with lads. It's 2 weeks of fishing.
First 2 or 3 days is all right, but then like towards the end of the week you start going bobos, don't you? Sort of like 8 or 9 o'clock at the bar.
So you need a bit of stamina when you're doing a bit,
man.
You know.
Got to go guy, I'm getting a guy, man. Looking good, mate, isn't you? You know what I mean?
When we went to Ireland, that was probably the worst.
Of course, you done it over there as well, didn't you?
I didn't win one in Ireland. I framed in one. I won my last ever match I fished over there, so I'm not going back. That's me out on a win.
Record there, mate.
But that was the hardest because everyone likes to have a good beer and a social. You're up early, you're fishing a natural venue with waves and wind and rain, and it's quite physical fishing.
Yeah.
You're just knackered. 2 weeks, like, it's a long time, do you know what I mean? So it's quite draining, festivals, but I would much rather fish a festival
than just like a qualifier or a normal open, mate.
I love my qualifiers again because you get that buzz, but the opens, they're just like practice. You know, opens are good because you can just chill out. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
So I still try and do a few when I get the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing beats like the
festival
buzz.
The festival buzz, isn't it?
Yeah, I like
being with your mates and
I want to have things on my CV and try and achieve stuff, do you know what I mean? That's
flipping that, mate. There's not many who's got more on the CV than you, Andy.
Is there anything left that you like?
I've got nothing left. That's literally it. There's nothing left for you.
I would like to win the Guru Festival at Whiteacres, but I've not fished it for last year or two, so
makes it tricky to win.
That's tricky to win if you don't go on it. Because then I would have won.
Have you done all of this? So
I would have won all
Dynamite. Is Milo's not one anymore? Is it? What's the Milo one now?
That's basically the Guru now.
Oh right.
So I won the Maver and the Preston and one of the spring ones.
What was the Bait Tech one? What did that one? Or is that still going?
Bait Tech still going.
That was the second one, wasn't it?
Was it?
No, sorry. I think that's Dynamite now, isn't it? It's Frenzy and Dynamite. I've won the Dynamite, the Maver and the Preston. I would like to win the Guru one.
Have you done the Silvers one that they used to have in like November, December?
I've only ever done it once, the Drennan one.
The Drennan one, that's it.
I was 5th and Johnny were 3rd when we went down. We went down once.
Right, okay.
But I would like to definitely get back on that.
Yeah.
It's because it's more F1-y now, do you know what I mean? I don't even think they call it Silverfish anymore. I think it's just the Winter Festival.
Yeah.
Garblino Winter Festival, I think it is. And then they do a Drennan one.
Yeah,
I'd love to fish.
There's lots of like little babby festivals that we can mention that baggers won. You know what I mean? Loads of local ones and a little bit further afield. But I don't think there's any bigger festivals left for you to go in.
Not in terms
other than
of
Whiteacres and Westwood.
It's changed, hasn't it?
Tunnel Barn. You know what I mean? That's another one. You've won that. Dio Masters.
They're more spread out now, isn't it? Like even Whiteacres isn't as big as it was numbers-wise, is it?
No, Whiteacres it used to be like 180 pegs and then it dropped to.
We need to get a Bardi one here, don't we? That'd be perfect for you. That.
Well, we've got one, haven't we, in September?
Of course, we have September. Yeah.
Got one in September. They just need to get it up and running and make it a fixture on the list. You know what I mean? So it's there every year and then it'll slowly grow. But yeah, in terms of festivals, I'm quite happy with what I've won festival. But I've got the match this. I'm in the final of that this year.
Yeah, boy.
I know it's not a festival thing, but that'd probably be the next thing I'd love to win.
Yeah, man. And obviously there's fish oil qualifier left and golden reels as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
You'll be in them all, and you know you will. You know you will be, folks.
I haven't done a golden reel yet. I need to
There's one
get
there
on
soon,
with it.
isn't there?
Sure
there is.
Yeah, I've got a couple of dates that I'll probably do a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, my main focus for fish on match this. I've got fish Midlands tomorrow, that'll be good. And then maybe squeeze a few fish north in. Whatever I can, do you know what I mean? If I've got a weekend now, I'll just...
That's it, fishing.
Yeah, I don't mind travelling a couple of hours. I'll go to Tunnel tomorrow on my own, it don't bother me. I'd rather do that than just stay local.
Yeah, definitely.
I just think you've got to aim, with festivals and big money things, it's just nice to aim at something, have something to, you know, I'd love to win that, have that on my CV.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, I'm not dogging the people who come and do the opens, but for
I hope you're not, Andrew.
For me, I just don't see the point in fishing. Just spread your wings a bit, do you know what? What are you laughing at?
Nothing, mate. Yellow. Yeah.
You're always thinking something different.
It's good to spread your wings on.
I would just like something to focus on. Right, we'll cut there. Cut.
No, that's it, mate. No, it's done. No, brilliant, mate. Yeah, there's literally nothing left for your festival-wise. So yeah, nothing left. But mate, it's literally amazing the achievements that you've had, and obviously you've got years and years left yet, haven't you?
Well,
I mean, look at Nuddy's, like, what is he, mid-70s, still going strong. You're not. What are you, 37, 38?
27.
Shut up, you dick.
37.
You know what I mean? So there's like years and years left yet, and you're just going to like continue to like dominate. You're going to be a dominator for years to come, aren't you? Isn't he, Rich?
Well, I just need a few of the others to retire. Too many good ones this year.
There's a lot of good
anglers coming through. It's hard. It's getting harder and harder all the time. Do you know
it is, but you're still at the top. You know, the likes of you and J Lad, you're still like right up there at the top. You know, these young whippersnappers are like, you know what I mean, snapping at your heels, and it says a lot about your character and you know who you are as a person, mate. So fantastic.
Cheers, mate.
Go on the bagger.
Right, sorry to interrupt again, you lot, while you're watching some wonderful videos, but I want to tell you quickly about what we are doing at the minute within the Winning Ways camp, because as we mentioned at the start of the year, it is about taking things to the next level, and this month has definitely been the most overwhelming month that we have ever managed to stick so much content on. It is simply, it's unwatchable as that much. I barely have time to fit it all in. So if you haven't had a look at what's going on, we've got live matches going on left, right and centre from both myself and some very, very, very special guests. We've got Mr. Bennett fishing a live match, we've got Matty Dawes chucking a live match in, and we've got Daiwa's latest recruit, Mr. Adam Richards, fishing a live match. So together with that, we've got the instructional stuff that we are always trying to bring to you, in that with Christian Jones fishing for shallow fishing, which there's probably no better. And this month, we've also got Mr. Des Ship, and soon to come, Mr. Andy Bennett, who are fishing worms and casters at Woodland View, and Mr. Bennett is fishing his mudline tactics that he's took, again, just as we have with our content, to a whole new level. So if you haven't had a look, have a look at the Winning Ways channel. What is available? I'm sure there is something for us all to learn.